Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Pantsless Tables. I am Okami, also known as Hector. I am going to be your Lightkeeper tonight. And so, as I said, let us begin. Content warning for our viewers: colonialism, classism, blood, cultural appropriation, capitalist exploitation, queer alienation, diaspora alienation, and sex work. Underneath the bright lights and manicured gardens of the eaves rest the catacombs of Old Fair, a place filled with shadowy secrets and horrifying and unspeakable horrors of the flair. Ambitious fools amongst New Fair's elite wields the alchemical blasphemies to pry these catacombs of its secrets, and it is the shining light of Candela Obscura that must stop them. But even those with the most noble intentions may find themselves broken by the unspeakable entities and fountaining bleed unleashed by the hubris of the petit bourgeois of New Fair, wielding their wealth as a weapon against those who would seek to interfere in the obsidian Plutarch's relentless quest for power over death itself. And so continues the macabre tale of the Circle of Hither and Yon. Assignment number 368, The Broken Man. Our circle is at the bottom, in the basement of the Winston estate. It is a dark, cold, cavernous ruin. But we are in the same place. But we're going to go to a different time. Our current circle fades, and we are once again in these same catacombs, coming from a different direction, coming from another portion of the eaves. In there, we see a different circle that perhaps went by a different name. The Circle of Needle and Stitch. They are heading through these underground chambers. A young man looks to be in his early 30s. Another woman as well next to him of similar age. Both look to be of upper class, but dressed well. In their company is one we would know as Don Augusto Castillo. Another, and these individuals are traveling through the catacombs, looking past the ruins, holding up the lanterns, knowing that they're getting closer and closer as they hear strange noises in the background. The woman reaches out, her red hair cascading over her shoulders as stress has made her hairstyle come undone. Adrian, are you sure this is where we should be going? Yes, I can sense the bleed coming from here. Augusto holds up the lantern and he says, yes, this way. This is the way that we should be going. And the group continues deeper and deeper into the catacombs until finally they come upon the very same area. Within, there are robed figures, all wearing simple black domino masks, black hooded robes lined in scarlet and blue, stitching of gold alchemical symbols, all woven into the edges of the cloaks, all glowing with strange light as they have various zeme, small totems from the Isle of Borinque, surrounded in auspicious directions on the ground, where painted is all a matter of symbols and gold leaf from Old Fair. A mashing and mixture of indigenous folk practice and alchemical, hermetic, Old Fair sorcery. There is incense and candles and blood and all a matter of strange incantations being chanted. A bell with a clear, cold note calling upon the Lord of the Underworld reverberates through the chamber. And all of the members of this young circle look on in horror as they see a single figure conducting this ritual, holding on to an ivory mask. And then a blood-curdling scream that is within all of them echoes throughout the chamber. And as the scene fades, it turns black. Sienna, you open your eyes, and in this moment you are surrounded by your circle in front of an empty portal in these catacombs with all of these different entranceways. And for a brief second, you could see a ghostly image of your father entering, looking in shock, dropping his lantern, and then vanishing. It is not an apparition. It's an echo.
Dad was here.
Here in this chamber.
Yes.
At what time? Just now?
It's just an echo. But he was here.
I'll take your word for it. I see no sign of him.
No, you wouldn't. But he was here.
Well, let's canvass the room and make sure there's nothing here that's going to kill us.
Yeah. God.
You all deploy into this room. You do your explorations, you do your searching, and I'm going to ask an important question of everyone at the table. And this is also where we're going to be getting into our recovery in between assignments. What does every member of the circle that is within the catacombs now, what do you do before returning to the chapter house to recuperate? As a reflection of the fiction of what you want to take to recover. You all have, I believe, 3 stitch. Whitney, if you could review for us what we have.
All right. So on our circle sheet, we have the following resources. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
We have 3 stitch for our audience. Stitch is what we use to heal all of our marks. So if we take one of those, we heal all of our body, all of our bleed, and all of our brain marks. We have 3 of those available. We have 2 refresh. Mechanically, refresh will take away we basically get back all of our drives and resistances.
And these are for each PC as well, though. It's 1 per.
It's 1 per, yes, and you have to share.
And we have 2 of these. And then for train, we have 2 train. Basically, we will get an extra D6 to use in our next assignment if we take that option. So we are all free to take any of these, but remember to be careful because we only have 3 of one thing and 2 of the other 2 resources.
Narratively speaking, at this moment, I think if we seem stable enough that we're considering lowering our guard and relaxing, I suppose we're going to have to leave this place. But Mr. Griffith just makes the rounds, makes sure everyone's okay, especially paying attention to Agatha because she looked like she was doing pretty poorly last time.
Okay.
But like as for spending resources, yeah, that's mechanical. This is just the narrative of.
Yeah, no, of course.
Narratively, I'm also going to go check on Patel because he took a scar.
Yeah, that was important.
Yeah.
First scar.
You're awesome. I think.
Yeah. You're checking on the scar, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What do we see that's different about you?
Yeah. Could you describe your scar for the audience and for the circle?
Okay. So when you reach Arav now, he seems to be sitting upright, but still on the floor, still disoriented. This disorientation has not left him yet. You see on the back of his head, there seems to be a small hole almost that seems to almost pierce the entire of his cranium, almost reaching his brain, but not quite. It seems like he's still like he has his hand over it, but if anyone wants to look at it, he will just show it to them to hear their expertise, perhaps.
Yeah, I think we'd, Miss Agatha, can we get a look at the back of his head now that we've got a moment? Here, son, bring that bandage down. Let's have a look.
So, Agatha, as you're examining Mr. Patel's head, you notice that there is a small but deep hollow that almost pierces his cranium from where he hit his head in the previous encounter with the chupacabra. It's not actively bleeding. Like, you're able to clean it and you're able to but there's no stitching this. This is going to stay. Like, you can stabilize him, you make him feel better, but this is something that is on the scale of what happened to your eye.
Oh my God.
What is it? What's happened?
It's not anything that medicine can fix.
How have you changed? How has your character changed, Spear? With the scar.
You're muted.
So since this has happened, he can't focus as well. Like, he can't seem to focus, analyze stuff as well, because he has hit his head quite hard, almost breaking his skull. However, he has shifted his focus, starting to since last time he was trying to pull someone, he's trying to move, trying to pull someone. He has shifted his focus, making sure that never happens, that he's not able to will be able to get someone out the next time he tries something like this. He's determined to not let someone be in danger and not be able to do anything about it, not just fainting in place there and there.
So you moved a point from focus to move?
Mhm.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. All
Awesome.
right. So are there any resources that the group would like to use while we're going around figuring out what everyone is doing?
Narratively, do we leave this place and return
Yes,
to
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I wanted to give you guys the time between leaving this place and the chapter house to recover.
Yeah.
Before we leave, Agatha would like to study the portal a bit more closely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Aadi and Tomas, Kalki and Enrique, do you want to use any resources to recover? Any stitch, refresh, or train?
No
I
need
mean,
yet.
if it wasn't too problematic, I think I would like to take the thing that refreshes all of the marks, because I have 2 brain and 2 bleed marks already.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
You
Yeah.
could take a stitch. So you would
Yeah.
take a stitch.
Yeah, take 1 stitch.
Okay.
And what about el profesor?
Not for me. I am fine with just 1 brain, and that's it. Because I also had 1 bleed, but we said that the first one was for free.
It's
So
free, yes.
yeah, so I decided to take 1 off the bleed.
All good. Okay.
Oh, and I guess
First
for
one
the
I took.
stream, because I don't think we mentioned that. For the stream, it was that we have 1 more than expected, because
Yes.
the character sheet has a limit of 3 and then the scar, but we have, as we've seen
Yes.
elsewhere, 4.
Yes. Yeah.
so-
We if you read the rule book for our audience, it very specifically says in the rule book, you do not take a scar until you take the 4th mark. This is not a knock on Demiplane. Y'all's interface is gorgeous, but
Yes.
we did not agree to play Candela on hard mode. We
I don't know.
agreed to
I don't know.
play.
Let's go.
Medium. Well, stream mode is what we're playing on it. Actual play mode. So maybe
Just a
in
little
the
guy
future.
mode.
Yeah, maybe in the future when we're feeling a little bit braver, we might play Candela on hard
Mess
mode.
me
where you
up.
take a scar on the 3rd
Sweet.
mark, but not for this circle. Perhaps for the future.
I got my exit planned. Fuck me up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we
Anyway.
have spent resources.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Not
Would
all-
you like to spend some resources? Who else would like to spend resources?
Honestly, I was looking at my sheet. I have only 1. I have 1 brain and 2 bleed. I kind of want to take a stitch.
I wouldn't blame
You
you.
only have 3.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm reluctant.
This is all that we get for the duration of our
Mhm.
4 episodes go. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then in that case, you know what? I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
I still have most of my drives. I've got 2 of my cunning drives. I've got 3 of all my other drives. So what if I take another? So what if I take a scar?
Exactly. It's part of the fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Exactly.
I think that Arav would take a refresh, because he only has 2 of his cunning and 1 of his intuition left. So he's quite low on drives.
All
All right.
good. All right.
Yes, so I think
Whitney, please take a note that we have spent 1 stitch and 1 refresh
Already done.
going into the 2nd episode.
Already
Excellent.
done.
So you all take your time. Don't worry about making any rolls. Investigating these catacombs. And this is the information that you all uncover. There is a copious amount of residual bleed around the portal. The enchantment itself is already finished. But this is definitely still like a nexus point where rituals could be performed. And there is enough bleed to capture here. If anyone has a bleed containment vial, As a matter of fact, Agatha, if you wanted to pull out if you had a vial, perchance, you could collect some bleed and siphon it off of this portal for study. You find...
I do actually have a bleed containment vial.
Excellent. As you put the vial near the portal, what does it look like? How does it manifest?
You know those old perfume bottles, from the Victorian era?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like that, except it's got the protective runes. It's got protective gemstone on it.
You put it in the portal, and then you could see it just fill with this green, blue, and black smoke. Just starts to fill the vial until it is contained, and that coldness that you all felt near the portal just vanishes. And there's a little bit of almost you know how it feels when you enter a room, suddenly the heater kicks on and the chill in your bones suddenly melts away in the middle of winter? That's what it feels like once she captures the bleed in this vial. It feels comfortably warm in these catacombs again. And
as a Canadian who deals with deep winters, yeah.
Midwesterner. I get this.
Everyone else, as you're all looking around, Professor, Mr. Patel, Kalki, you find 3 other exits to this place that lead deeper into the ruins of Old Fair. There's more, you can sense more bleed, but deeper into the catacombs, which is not a surprise to you. Old Fair is filled with all sorts of strange creatures. And I will say that you find another exit from this area that goes up into the eaves in front of a local tea shop. That kind of exits out a back entrance of this tea shop that appears to be abandoned, an abandoned storage area, and a side door. You do see footprints leading out through the dust. So, but which means this place has been used, but not in recent years. They're very old footprints from a few years ago. And Old Boy recognizes the smells.
Well, I wonder if we've been here before.
Can I bend down and kind of touch the footprints and maybe see if I could get a touch?
Yes. You touch it, and then you get a flash of that scene of your father and your mother and the other members of their circle sneaking through here.
I see Dad and Mom and Don Augusto.
You know I have no time for that sort of thing, my dear.
What is Don Augusto doing here?
You say that, and as you say that, something catches your eye, Lieutenant. You recognize those shoes.
You mean the footprints?
You recognize the footprints. You recognize the shoes. As soon as she says that, it's your detective brain gets sparked.
Good
and
eye.
those are her father's. Those are exactly the style of shoes.
About the right size?
They're the right size. It's the right time. It's one of those things where even though she's talking nonsense, your detective brain clicks in and you could see the footprints.
You said this place was familiar. Could I do a survey or something else to see if I can glean any more information?
Yeah, go ahead and just give me a medium stakes survey check.
Ooh, medium stakes. Okay.
And
Can
then
I attempt
after
to
this,
help on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to spend a drive? How are you
Yeah.
helping?
Actually, take a drive from me because I'm sensing it.
All right. 2 drives. That's 4 days.
Yep.
Okay.
I think as all of this highly arcane stuff was going on, Kalki would have just been like, hands crossed across her bosom and just like looking down at Mr. Griffith and yes, how will your explorations of physics and chemistry explain away the clearly arcane disposition that is happening right now this time, Mr. Griffith?
There's a lot of technology that I don't understand either.
How many? What is
A
our
doorway,
results?
a doorway to elsewhere could have a billion explanations. I have a 4.
You
Best
have
I got is a 4.
You have a 4. What
So
you have
success
picked
to the
up?
text.
What you have picked up is that, in fact, the facts are yes. Years ago, some people came through this chamber. The reason why you're able to find footprints in the dust is because it's been undisturbed. The shoe size, the weight matches both the individuals that Serena is saying were here. You see the evidence of it. You even find a piece of a dress that a piece of cloth that matches a pattern of a dress that you bought Veronica, correct, is your mother's name? Veronica, that you bought Veronica for her name day. They were here, and
So I will convey all of that and kind of this instructional, not necessarily condescending, but just I'm noticing these mundane details.
And as you're but you're still not really
Uncle Harry.
And this place seems familiar to you, and then at a certain point you see Harry's hands are shaking. You feel like something's on the edge of your memory, and you can everything kind of turns red, and you can hear this place reminds you of one of the places you hid with Agatha, and then you come back to.
I kind of look at Agatha and see if she's okay. Kind of just
Uncle Harry, are you okay?
Yeah, it's just a bad memory.
How do we get out of here? Let's get out of here, guys.
Yes, be careful not to wander off. There's plenty of side passages here. Well, you're all professionals, you know that.
I would like to
more than just.
Yes, absolutely. What other looking around would you like to do, Kalki?
Oh, hang on. You said it was medium stakes, and I got a success at a cost. Do I take any marks?
No, not this time.
Okay.
Not this time. But I wanted to telegraph to you that you're on the edge of something.
Mm-hmm.
There's you can feel something in the back of your mind, something that you had put away, something about this investigation in this area is rattling you.
Before we shift from that, is there at some point in the future some time I could spend, some process I could do to try to unpack this better?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Kalki, do you want to investigate specifically this room? Or do you want to look around the catacombs on your way back to the chapter house?
Well, this abomination of romantic arts has taken place, and that is not for us to whine about now, as the milk, as it were, has already been spilled. But I would like to go and give a detailed look at the proceedings, at the surroundings, to see what texts or what direction they need to attempt this. This does not seem like it was the work of a hackney hedge wizard. This was something that was clearly designed and taking into account threads from different Mayas and have brought them together.
Okay. You are definitely going to find something. I want you to give me a roll to determine how much you find. So, what do you want to pitch to me? What kind of roll would you like to make?
So I mean, I have my little bleed detector out, and I have it cupped in the middle of mudra, and I am trying to read the resonance frequencies of the room to see if there is something that sticks out to me as an occultist.
All right. Do you want to use sense?
Yes.
Or okay. Go ahead and give me a sense roll.
Can I contribute a drive based on just the surveying I'd kind of done, the more practical, mundane? I could say
Absolutely.
I'm noticing certain shapes in these corners because I don't understand what any of the markings or rune markings mean, but I point them out to you at least so you're aware of their presence.
Absolutely. Spend that drive, add that die.
Okay.
And I will add another drive from myself because how high stakes is this?
I was gonna say this is medium stakes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw in a drive of my own.
Ooh, we lost Sienna for a moment. Still roll. Hopefully she'll be back in a moment.
All right, let's go. Fuck.
All right.
I've got a 5 on a normal
Sienna's
thing.
back. You got a 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking
I got
through
two 5s, by the way.
2 5s? Okay. You're searching through, and at a certain point, you look around the area, and there's a montage of you all kind of backtracking through the catacombs, looking through the ritual area, looking through the house, and you manage to find a stack of books and tomes and papers from a private library that you find hidden in the lower chamber. And some additional books and things from within the Winston estate itself. But
I'm also looking for connections to other arcana and mysticum from Ispatpur.
You find several texts and tomes from your native land. However, as you're like kind of assembling these things, you feel a coldness reach into you and you take a bleed. How does the bleed feel as you're gathering all of these relics that once you have them all gathered have sort of seeped this arcane energy into you?
And all of what was once pure and from Ispatpur has been changed / tainted, lessened.
No, it's more like you've gotten these books, you've gotten these scrolls, but the magic is sort of seeped into all of these objects, and it was sort of like drops, like droplets of bleed as you were picking up one text and another scroll and looking over the semes that were on the ground and then trying to trace out this alternate mandala that is on the ground. Like all of these little pieces, as you were gathering all of this knowledge, has inflicted this bleed upon you.
Do you mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Is it these Istaporian artifacts have themselves been damaged, corrupted, or is it that the external corruption has affected them from being here and in this place?
It is the latter.
Okay. So it's outside influence has
Yes.
kind of made them filthy in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in a breath of very cold, like in a wash of cold air that frosted breath that happens to Kalki, as in that moment, the familiar flame of a diya or an oil lamp, which is a very fundamental part of any celebration in Spectre, is getting mottled and dribbled on by this old, withered candle, and its dark wax just covers the warmth and light of the Ispatwari Maya.
Seeing Kalki so affected, I think just seeing that you've been harmed by this, Griffith's going to be like, I'm sorry that he's done this to your artifacts. I didn't know that he was going to do any of this. To be honest, it's a shock. I'm sorry it's affected you so strongly. Assuming the bleed is just you emotionally upset at these like impurities.
It is not just that, Mr. Griffith. What that sad excuse of a good waste of good, decent air has done to the fabric of the weave of the Maya, of the faded. This is not sweet and candy. This is a version of life's notes at its purest, turning it into some macabre energy for some other people.
Well, I'm sorry that what he has done has caused you so much harm.
Do you understand what must be done?
I don't, but
because of this. Mr. Griffith, if I am not alone in what we witnessed back there, your lover has somehow mysteriously de-aged himself and come back to the peak of his physical prowess from when he was in his youth, when you met him.
I was under the impression that I was seeing things in that poor light in the room.
Indeed. And there's almost a breaking sound of teeth from within Kalki's mouth as she just controlled her face. Yes.
The forehead vein,
Yeah. The light, indeed. Of course.
We'll have to examine him closer when we take him down.
We all need to get out of here right now.
Indeed. Let me help you gather these things up, and we'll investigate them more back at the chapter house.
We should see how Oliver is.
Yes, he was sent to Good Touch some time back, and he would have taken care of him after he'd seen my necklace.
Hopefully they send back your motor carriage, your horseless carriage, or we will be walking a long way.
Beep beep.
Oh,
You hear a little honk outside of the estate, and Gustav, your driver, has returned.
I have trained Gustav better than most.
Your man is very talented.
Yes.
And you all have another contemplative, I love the dice rolling, a calm, contemplative drive back to the chapter house.
Yeah, I will pull out some good wine and then put it back in and pull out some whiskey and put those into some glasses and have everyone served, but with very offhand. She's not there as she's doing it. Her mind is completely elsewhere, and even after very perfunctory clink of the glasses, she would have gone back to just staring out of the window, chain smoking cigarettes in a fit of stress.
Can I ask, how's everyone else reacting to what we witnessed?
Yeah, how is and while you're in the car before you arrive at the chapter house, is everyone else just sort of being quiet and contemplative, or is there
Yeah.
anything that you say on the way? We got a yeah from Serena. Agatha?
See,
Yeah, for me.
Agatha is looking very pensive on the way back.
Mr. Patel, Professor Enrique?
Professor, you're muted.
You're muted.
Unmuting is a free action.
As for Enrique, he is pensive. You can see that since the moment that Arif was attacked and fell to the ground, and Agatha said about this hole in his head, he's just been like consumed. Like there's a part of him that doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to interact with anything, and is mostly going over his book at hand and trying to be within himself mostly.
Okay. And Mr. Patel, you're just sort of, are you also like sitting quietly in the car?
So for the so perhaps for the first half an hour or so, Arav is just out of it. He's getting over his disorientation. There's like, again, there's a hole in his cranium. There's like an almost a full hole in his cranium that he's just almost to his brain. So he's disoriented for the first half an hour. But after that, he slowly starts to like try to feel the area that got injured because he can't see it. It's on the back of his head. He can't see it. So he tries to feel it.
And Agatha
And he-
bandaged it up as best as she could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he
Every
just
time his
feels
hand
it
goes up there, be like, "Don't worry it, lad. It'll just make it worse."
Can I do just a quick thing here? I will look over at Arav, and I'll reach around my neck, and I will give him that Labradorite pendant that I had. It will function as a bleed ward, so
Ooh.
it will soak one bleed for you. So she gives that to Arav.
I take it
just
and I
kinda-
say, isn't this important to you?
Aren't you important?
You see, after that, he doesn't really say anything and just puts it on his neck.
It's for you. Trust me. And then she's going to kind of lean her head on Uncle Harry's shoulder and take his hand and just kind of squeeze it in solidarity for her Uncle Harry.
And
Yeah.
I think Kalki would have also kind of shifted around to where she would have been sitting next to Arav. She would have made a disc of her tongue, but she would have helped the chain lie a little smoother under the clothing and settle it down and then pat him on the shoulder and good. Yeah.
You see,
She was waiting for you to immediately start talking. So yes.
you see, Ara doesn't immediately stop talking. He sort of like looks up at you and he's just like, you see that there's almost like a contentment to finally get praise from Kalki. Like, praises from Kalki are rare for him. Like, Kalki doesn't praise him as much as she does. So getting praise from her is special for him, especially. So he's just content to have his teacher acknowledge his efforts.
Kalki's care is more like sit up straight, stop slouching, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Little rough, little hard, but
But
she cares.
after that, little conversation, she would have after that expression from Arav, Kalki would have just patted him on the thigh and then held his hand and resumed looking out of the window.
Lightkeeper, if you don't mind, I was just going to suggest something when we get back. So the drinks got passed out, and Harry's going to kind of look around and be like, "There's a lot of long faces here. Well, let's think about what we actually encountered there. Let's start talking. Let's get this weight out of the room. Let's start thinking." So we've had a man, old friend of mine, through unknown means, perhaps, has become a younger man. Gonna put that one on the table and just leave it there for a while. Gone through a
Wait.
door, might be magical. Still not really going with that either, but we've got a doorway and we've got a missing, I'm going to say thief, and he almost murdered his own son. Let's take stock of the situation and then make a plan for what we're going to do going forward. Instead of thinking and sitting and moping, let's get active.
Wait, you said there
Mistress,
was
we have
someone
arrived.
engaged there.
And we've arrived at the Ivory Mask. Okay.
I was basing that on we've got the drinks in the room after being at the mask.
Oh, yes. Smash cut forward. We'll edit it. It'll be like, Mistress, we've arrived. And then it jumps to, you're in the room with Augusto. Everyone has drinks. Oliver is resting. You've checked in on him. He's fine. And
seeing that Oliver is resting peacefully, Agatha looks a bit less pensive.
I imagine everyone's sitting around the table and Harry's standing and he like straightens up and he's like, all right, let's think. So it's an action kind of thing.
Augusto says, well, it's good to know that you're getting down to business.
There's no time like the present.
No time.
What he did, what the elder Mr. Winston did. It's on par with some of the things that I've read about regarding Old Fair and those who oversaw Old Fair.
Well,
there's so many mysteries.
From what I can see, there are two. I had an opportunity to speak with Oliver, and I had an opportunity to do some research while you were away, and Augusto glances down pensively. It's time for real answers. He goes into a drawer, unlocks it, he pulls out a key, sets it down, and slides it over to Kalki. This is to the vault that there is a sealed vault hidden in my private chambers where I entertain. This is the one with the golden etching in the back of the room. This is the key to it. And that is where Sita's ire is being kept.
It is no longer.
As I said, this key is for you to search. We also need more answers from one witness. And he gets up from his chair, who will no longer speak with me. When he glances at the gilded mirror.
She will, she wouldn't have taken the key immediately. She would have, reached her hand out to it, and then it would have been, a look up into Augusto's eyes, and then it would have been one of those cobra strike, reaching and picking out. Because
he doesn't move. He just
because you can tell there is a calm fury on Kalki's face right now, and I think given everything that Augusto and Kalki would have shared, he would immediately know that she is incensed that there was Ispatpuri relic of the caliber of Sita's ire here, and this is the first time she is getting to hear of it.
What exactly is Sita's ire?
That's the same thing that I wanted to know as well.
I have information here for you. And he goes over and he pulls up a dossier that you had noticed earlier, that you had not seen before, a leather chapbook. And he says, this was given to me by, I have been in correspondence with a member of Lightkeeper by the name of Kamal. And Kalki, you recognize that name. Kamal is one of the members of like the lighthouse in Istapur, in your home city. And he hands it to Kalki.
What's his name again?
Kamal.
His name is
H.
Kamal.
Kamal Ansari. An old, reputed name.
Are you looking through the dossier?
Yeah. I will look to it, but after only like bombastic side eye at Augusto.
Yeah, you kind of glance at it, and it's all very like fresh. Like this is definitely like new. Somebody just wrote this, did some sketches. So this particular artifact has powers of purification and healing. And from what you're reading, is like I was waiting to give this information to you and Agatha. It was being held here until I could make arrangements to send it back to Istapur. Unfortunately,
if it were from anybody else, I would have laughed very condescendingly and accepted that for what it was, an attempt to obfuscate the truth. But since it is you, Don Augusto, I know that you were indeed trying to do as you had said. But I would have appreciated a word of information.
I apologize, but once you and Agatha recovered Sita's ire, I thought perhaps...
Never should have left the temple where it was.
Indeed.
So what good does this do us based on what we're currently trying to accomplish?
We know how he did it. We know he used Sita's ire to make himself younger.
Sure.
It has purification powers are legendary. As to its capabilities, no one entirely knows for sure, given the age of the relic in question.
Well, the witness that I have... Yes, Mr. Patel.
Looks to Lockey and asks, is this perhaps from the legend of
Oh, you're cutting out real bad.
Yeah, turning into a robot. Oh no. Oh no.
We might need to read it for you from text.
Yeah. Go ahead and send us a text and let us know what it is that you're trying to do, my friend.
Your Wi-Fi sounds a little iffy.
Yes.
Facing many ghosts in that location.
College networks,
Yeah, college networks are the worst.
So true.
Oh God, yeah.
All right. Patel, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please go ahead and re-ask. You sound bright and clear and wonderful.
Okay, I was just asking, like, this was something like, because Arav has not heard of the legends, like, he's not heard of the relics per se, but he has heard of the legends that they may come from Kalki.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just asking which particular legend is from, and he mentioned the legend of Ram and Sita. And he asks whether this artifact corresponds to that legend.
Legends are merely harbingers of tales, and tales move from place to place. Young Mr. Patel. It is not entirely clear as to which part of our elaborate and vast mythology this relic is connected to. we only know of its power and its effectiveness. And now it is lost, fused to whatever abomination of alchemy and old fair has wrought.
Yes.
How? So if this artifact is lost, why did it appear on my chest? Why did the mask also appear on me? What the hell is going on?
You know, the lieutenant is right. Let's get moving. Follow me. And he gets up and leads you all to where this golden sealed enchanted opening chest is. And Kalki, you put in the key, open it, and then all of the gold etching and filigree glows with just a little bit of arcane energy, and then it opens and you see it there in a beautiful deep purple velveteen pillow sitting in the center, a golden bangle with a fire ruby on it, and all of these Istapurian, the native tongue kind of etched on the inside, prayers to fire and seed poetry rather than prayers, I would say, there. And it's at this point, knowing what you know, Agatha, I need you to give me something that would steady yourself. What would...
Focus, perhaps? Focus?
Yeah, give me a focus roll. High stakes.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna give a drive by basically just patting you on the back. You're not alone.
Yeah.
I'm out of drives for intuition now.
This time again, Aggie, we stand as a bulwark against the darkness. It is only you who I trust to be a nice idea.
I'm going to spend one of my own drives
Okay.
on this, so I am out of intuition drives for right now.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's go team out of intuition drives.
This is
taking
a
a drive
high
from me,
stakes.
right?
One second. This is a high stakes roll, right?
Yeah, it's a high stakes roll.
Okay, I might have... No, never mind. I'm going to save my drives. I just got them.
No, we got it. We're just getting in.
This is intuition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So take a drive from me as well.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
How many dice are you rolling now?
5 total.
Take a drive from me as well. I'm gonna use... So, one second. Let me just double check.
Maximum power!
So I have my ability called Cool Under Pressure on any high stakes roll.
Ooh,
I
that
may
is
spend
a 6
cunning
on the
instead of...
gilded.
Oh, great.
6 on the gilded.
Yeah, cool under pressure does what?
I essentially spent cunning instead of any other drive. Instead of the drive, it falls under any high stakes roll. So
6
Nice.
on the gilded. Everybody get your drives back.
Just one, right? A gilded
Yeah.
6 is... Okay.
Everybody that contributed a drive gets it back because it was a 6 on the gilded.
All right. Back down to 1 intuition. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. So you realize without the shadow of a doubt that is a detailed, enchanted replica. This...
Oh!
They took your plan and did it to you.
Son of a bitch!
You remember the conversation that you had about replicas with George, and everything that you had been trying to do to make it up to Kalki, to redeem yourself, has been taken, and you know exactly the person who might have been able to pull this off. Your contact in the Red Hand.
You guys hear
Oscar
Agatha?
Wright.
You hear Agatha using very unladylike language, swearing in multiple languages, and
That one in a while.
also
see,
promising
Patel
bodily
is-
harm to somebody.
What have they done?
You see,
What did
Patel is just listening intently, like he can't understand half the words that are coming out, but he does catch a few words. A few
Some
of
of
them.
them are in Isthaporian, some of them are in Varangian.
I lean over.
She is
Yeah. I lean
she
over.
is going off and threatening bodily harm to Oscar.
What
I
the,
lean
what the
over.
devil has happened?
I lean over to Arav and I say, "Yeah, she just said see you next Tuesday."
You see, Arav is making, Arav is just looking at Agatha acting very bewildered, but he's
This is a
acting very
fury
bewildered. And,
that the only person in the room besides Agosto who has ever seen her this angry is Lieutenant Griffith.
Yeah, he's nervous.
Another detail that I want to share with you that is very important is that the reason why you know Oscar Wright could pull this off is because this is the contact that sold you the location of Sita's Ire and that abandoned ruin.
Man, you swap it, and then you give someone. Oh, I found it. Oh, it's right here. What a dog.
okay, so you see, Arav is looking at Agatha and he seems to be scared and bewildered, but actually in his mind he's making notes of every single swear word being used and can't wait to try them out later on.
Wait. What happened? It is here.
I would say you get a response this strong. I would say it's probably not.
You see Agosto go over and very carefully examine it. And as what I'm going to say is that as Kalki and Agosto are both looking at it, then you both realize, gauging the reaction, because, 6 on a Gilded, you both come to the realization that this is a replica. A detailed replica. Someone from Istanbul was hired to make this. The magic on it is a glamour. It's designed to just radiate energy to fool your bleed detectors.
I am going to strangle that little worm when I get my hands on him.
Your little detectors aren't as good as a trained eye.
It doesn't explain how he managed to do the switch.
She whirls in that moment, takes 2 steps up to Mr. Griffith. Is like, I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Nothing's more clear than Agatha's eye.
Arav is hiding behind Sienna.
Yeah, you hide behind me right now. Good idea.
Yes, a
It
trained
doesn't
eye.
explain how he got it. I don't know how he got it. It should have been safe. Unless he made the switch somehow right under my nose, which is entirely possible, that little bastard.
Aggie,
That-
let's
see,
not lose our
Arav, you see, Arav
at this
pop up
point,
from
you
behind
remember
Sienna.
Oscar is on the board for Briar College. Briarbank College Museum Board.
Oh my
You
god.
see, also you see that Arav pops up from behind Sienna and says, didn't Mr. Winston leave the room and not go to, didn't something happen back when we were investigating who had broken into the Ivory Mask? Didn't someone go the path they were not supposed to take, if I'm not wrong?
That's using the chupacabra as a distraction.
One hell of a distraction.
I mean, I got nothing.
It's very, yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do, to be honest, if I was doing something this elaborate. Make a massive distraction so that I could pull everyone's attention to something that, while may seem large in the grand scheme of things, is completely unrelated to what's actually going to happen.
Which
And
means
he's going to do a demonstration of something like that. He's going to do an elaborate card trick while he asks you to, essentially takes 3 coins out, asks you to notice, keep your eye on them. And he does an elaborate card trick as he's doing that. And I'm going to make a hide roll to, essentially, I'm going to swipe all the coins while they're looking at an impressive card trick.
Okay, go ahead and give me a medium stake, a low stakes roll.
Actually, can I volunteer? Maybe steal my revolver and be like, "And you didn't even notice I took your gun," and be like, "Ah, my gun!"
Ooh, it'll be medium stakes then. If you do the revolver trick, it'll be medium because
All
it's
right.
an old veteran.
I will spend cunning that will give me 2 dice instead of 1 because of my misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just go ahead and roll it. This is gilded as well, so let's go ahead. Ooh, that's quite nice. I got a 6 on a non-gilded die, so I'll go ahead and take that.
Okay.
Nice.
You take the 6 and you pull off this magic trick. And because it's on a 6, it's at that point that something cracks, right? It becomes very obvious to everyone. Yes, the chupacabra might have been a distraction, or maybe, since this has been sitting here for so long, and then because of the 6 lieutenant, it's at that point that old boy looks at you and you realize it might have been George.
Bastard. Bloody George. Why else would he have been here? Playing to my ego.
And it might not have been the night that Chupacabra attacked. It could have been
any night.
Any night, because you found that secret back way through.
Just shows up out of nowhere. Oh yes, it's been years.
And then also because of the 6, Agatha and Kalki, I'll give you, and the professor, all 3 of you realize that the Red Hand has a particular artifact that they've sold to Candela before, colloquially called a skeleton key, which allows them to unopen only magically enchanted locks. It doesn't work on mundane ones. It only works on locks that have been warded. And they typically only, yes, they're magic keys.
Where he had never crossed us.
And you know that Oscar would easily have had access and could have sold this kind of key. Like the local Red Hand has sold this to members of Candela, but will also sell it to anybody who wants it.
So we've been played for fools.
Which means that George knows about Candela.
Certainly.
I think he would.
I am going to make him regret ever crossing you, Barry. I will make sure he pays.
We have one more witness to question.
Who?
That will give us the missing pieces. He looks over at Harry and he looks at Sienna. It's time to question Adrian Ballard. And with that, we're going to take a break.
Oh!
Okay.
No.
Let's take a break. So,
yes. We are just going to take a nice 10-minute break. I want to keep the plot staccato. I want to keep it going. And then when we come back, we will be entering the 4 pharaohs.
Oh,
You're going to get a bit of a glib like, I hate to inform you, but he's dead.
Hello, everyone. Once again, we have returned to the frightening and intriguing mystery of the circle of Hither and Yon. Now, we are once again in Don Castillo's office. He is standing in front of the mysterious gilded mirror that he keeps behind his desk. He pulls out a crystal bell from his pocket, lined in gold. He pulls out a tiny, microscopic golden mallet, hits it, and a pure sounding note resonates through the room. And then the mirror ripples, turns into water for a moment, and then he steps through and vanishes. Each of you, one by one, dramatically head through this entry to the Four Pharaohs. It feels like... What's that you say?
What does Griffith think about this?
Oh, I didn't realize he
I'm
had
afraid.
such a fancy place just behind this fake mirror.
When you step through, it feels like stepping through a waterfall, but when you get to the other side, you are not wet.
I'm stomping through, and when I stomp through and get close to Don Castillo, I'm smacking him across the face.
He has like a lantern in his hand. Oh, no. It's so this hallway, it's a stone hallway, archway above, about 5 feet above. It's about barely 6 feet wide. And you walk up and you crack him across the face. And he stops and he looks at you.
Son of a bitch.
Because we're family, I'm going to let that go.
I'm going to just position myself behind Sienna. It's quiet. Let's all try to keep on the same team.
Your father will not answer any more questions.
Unless I'm there, right?
You or Harry. I don't know. He told me that he won't speak to me any longer.
So you've imprisoned him. I was under the impression that he'd been killed.
No, Harry. No.
Oh, no. In fact, I'm sorry, Tio Augusto. My emotions right now are just so high, it's not even funny. You know, I can empathically feel what everyone else is feeling too. And we've had yelling and swearing and see you next Tuesday and all that stuff being thrown around. So let me do you mind? You know what? I'm not even going to ask your permission. This is how Tio Augusto got me to join the circle and got me to join Candela when I didn't want to. Because of Dad. He's here in the Fourth Pharaohs.
Safest place for him, Sienna.
Augusto.
I'm sorry, what is this place? Where are we right now? As you see Arif looking around this stone hallway behind a mirror that turned to water and stepping through like a waterfall that wasn't wet. He's just super confused. Like, I'm sorry, where are we? What is this place?
Just a place we shouldn't
Candela
be.
He
Candela's most important secret.
This is the Four Pharaohs. It is a place beyond where we contain all of the dangerous artifacts and occasionally individuals that have succumbed to bleed that we cannot.
I may very well end up here someday.
Let's not speak like that. Not if I have anything to say about it.
You want your answers? Fine. Take me to my father, just like you promised, right?
I did. Today
I'm
I
sorry
keep that
I hit
promise.
I'm sorry I hit you.
Apology accepted.
I do
Everyone,
God damn it.
everyone remain close. Just because we are in a place that Candela has made safe doesn't mean we actually are. And he reaches over and grabs a lantern that no one really noticed because it's strangely ambiently lit here. And when he touches it, it glows with a shining light. And he holds it up and leads the group deeper into the labyrinth of the
One of
four
those
pharaohs.
newfangled electric lights, I fancy.
Kalki would roll her eyes and then step up to Sienna's side, hold out her arm, and just start walking. Would lean her head on Sienna's bit. Come,
Yeah,
let's go.
I'll walk as close to Don Augusto as possible, and I'm holding my revolver in my pocket. So it's not out, but I'm like ready to just start shooting.
Eventually, as you roam these empty halls, you reach a doorway with an intricate lock. Kalki, you have the key. He steps aside. He's right next to the door. He's not going away to give Kalki space to unlock the door.
From what I understand, it is not often that Candela agents get an opportunity to open the vaults of Pharos in such a matter.
You're already in the Pharaohs. It's opening a deeper lock that usually doesn't happen. This is definitely a sign of trust. Beware.
She will pat Siena's hand and step aside. And, she would kind of carefully take the key out, make a mudra, and open it softly and but firmly.
The door opens, revealing a small bedroom with a comfortable, clean twin bed, a writing desk, a chamber pot, a little fireplace. There are papers on the desk, a chair with a cushion on it. And you see restraints that aren't being used that are tied to the corners of the bed. And sitting in the chair with his back to you is a gentleman in a white button shirt, comfortable black slacks, a gentleman's suspenders, holding up the pants, reddish dark brown hair. You can see red highlights. And there is a lantern or a candle glowing on the desk. And it appears that he was just sitting, staring at papers. And upon the opening of the door,
Pardon me, are you decent?
Adrian.
The table, he looks over his shoulder with a jerking motion. And Lieutenant?
Yes, and your daughter, Sienna.
He
Dad?
gets up,
and Agatha.
Turns around, and his eyes just look. It's your father. But his eyes are darting right, darting left. He looks...
What's gotten into you, man?
Harried. He looks tired. And...
Why are they keeping you in here?
Wait, Harry. Wait. Dad?
I'll not interact from up close with someone that might be victim of too much bleed.
You guys, it's at this point, Tomas, your character notices that there are sigils of protection strategically placed throughout this room. And it's containing bleed that is radiating off of him.
What's old guy do? Does he growl at him? Or is he just kind of staying back?
He's staying back.
I'm going to look at Don Castillo and I'm going to say, if you need the answers you seek, you need to let me talk to him. Quietly.
Right. Be careful. Don't touch him.
I might have to.
Arif is going to
I
hang back.
will step forward.
Pause. Arif, what did you say?
Arif is going to hang back. He's going to give Sienna the room she needs. However, he is there. He sort of like clutches. He sort of like puts a hand on Sienna's shoulder, pats her, and moves back a bit. He knows it's an important movement. And
I squeeze his hand.
Squeeze
I
his hand.
squeeze his hand. Thank you.
I would also step up to Sienna and gently place my hand on her wrist and give her a little squeeze. You have got this, young one. Do not lose yourself in the pursuit of what may seem like a good decision in the now. We are here to look at the future, and that is not in the now.
Okay. Yes, Miss Aadi.
She'll pat your head and give the a very fond pat on the cheek, on your cheek, and I'm here if you need me. Let me know.
I'm going to step into the room. And
I'm going with her.
And I'm going to sit cross-legged on the floor, which is easy for me to do because I'm wearing slacks and not a dress. And I'm going to kind of maneuver my head, craning it, so that I meet my father's eyes. And he has such beautiful, clear blue eyes. And for a moment, I see the handsome, capable man that I've always known, that's always, bounced me in the air as a child, that's always sat with me holding my hands, and teaching me about my abilities and trying to guide me. And with that in mind, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm not going to do anything just yet, but I'm going to say, Dad, once upon a dream, do you remember what we used to say?
Give me a sway.
Which is my only ability I don't have a dot in.
All right.
I am going to spend,
I would like to help her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll contribute to drive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so originally I had 0 in that. So
Yes.
this would be now 1 die, now 2 die. Okay.
3 die.
Huh?
3 die.
You're
3
gonna
die.
agree?
Yeah.
Well, it normally starts at 2 with disadvantage, and then it goes to 1, 2.
Okay, so I have 2 dice.
Yes. 2.
Is this high stakes?
Yes.
Then
Very high stakes.
Then I am
I'm
going
going to give
to
her a cunning
spend.
anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna give her a cunning. Okay.
Okay, so I have 3 dice, and I am going to spend. I'm cleaning out my cunning drives.
Okay. Here we
So
go.
that is now 4 dice. Ugh.
Roll.
You got this.
I'm
Let's
also
go.
keeping Don Augusto in my line of sight while I'm in here.
I got double sixes. I got 2 sixes.
2 sixes. Okay.
That is so amazing. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's
Let's
go.
fucking go.
All right. So this is what happens. Everyone kind of. What I'm going to say in the
We get our
narrative
drives back, right?
is that yes, everyone gets their drives back. Did you get the 6 on the gilded?
I don't have gilded. I don't have anything in that.
No, nobody gets their drives back.
Sorry.
Like, but it's okay.
That's what they're
double
for.
6s. Everyone kind of hums along or sings along if they know it. Everyone that contributed a drive.
Thank you, Jekyll and Hyde the musical.
It's an old nursery rhyme. And all of a sudden, like, he blinks, and that cloud of loss and of disassociation just clears, and you see the man that many of you used to know come back and pulled out of a cloud into the moment again.
Be careful, Sienna.
Are you here?
There he is.
Lieutenant?
Yes.
We're
Hello,
here.
boy. We brought your daughter. We're here to talk.
We're here, Dad. I'm
Yes,
here.
he gets up, wipes the sweat off his brow, and sits on the bed.
Yeah, you've been a bit out of sorts. Not quite yourself these days, hmm?
No, I feel like I've been walking down a dark tunnel, and I don't know how much time I have. What?
Okay, Dad, help us. Can you please help us?
Help? I don't remember. Help you with?
I'm going to burn a brain mark.
Ooh.
And I'm going to commune with him. Because
Oh.
he is a phenomenon now.
Yes.
And so this is commune.
I'll hand him my flask so he can have a little stabilizing sip of whiskey.
So I make a sense roll to open an empathic or telepathic link to ask a question. On a success, I get an answer. On a 4 to 5 or a mixed success, the phenomenon will ask a question in return.
Okay.
Here, boy, steady yourself. You're getting some bad shell shock. Let's just take a moment. Listen to your daughter.
Is that a drive?
Is that a drive? Are you donating a drive to the roll? Or are you just handing him a drink?
I will, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Is it
I will also donate a drive.
This is
this high stakes or
intuition.
not?
Okay.
This is intuition.
Is this high stakes?
It is high stakes, yes.
Again, I'll give it a cunning from myself again.
You touch he reaches for the flask, grabs it, takes a drink, hands it back to you, and then in the moment as you're making the connection, Harry, take a bleed.
Yeah.
What does bleed feel like to Harry?
Blasted migraine. I mean, unless I'm misunderstanding, bleed has a certain supernatural element to it. I would assume you would treat it like it's
but
just...
it's unique to every individual. It's different.
Oh, I think it's actually phantom pain. He gets a lot of like it hurts along like bones. Like it's he kind of gets like bloody shoulder. Take the
and then like as you take the bleed and you feel phantom pain, there's a brief flash of you firing your rifle at that giant cat. No, it's like there's a moment where the animal on the battlefield you remember shooting wasn't an animal, and then you come back to as like the old war injury comes in.
Okami.
Yes.
Can I have Don Enrique be by the side with his book open, ready
Yes.
to sort of cast any sort of incantation in case something
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
has go on?
Yeah, we can say that
Okay.
you've quietly gone in the room with the book open. Now that
Yeah.
they have his attention.
Enrique is
Okay.
extremely
Make your
cautious by
roll.
now.
Now it's
Okay.
time
All
for
right,
the big
so I've
scary
got-
roll.
So I've got 4 dice, 1
Okay.
gilded.
Aye, hear it.
Here we go.
Thank you, Butcher, my son, everyone.
Alright.
Alright.
Roll.
Also,
I'm gonna take a resistance.
Ooh.
I'm gonna
Uh-oh.
do.
The evil cackling in the background.
What did you
Yeah.
roll?
Okay, so with a resistance, what do I do?
You just roll 1 die. Actually,
Does it
you roll
have-
2 dice and take the lower.
Ooh.
With resistance?
Yes, because you get no bonuses when you do your resistance.
Cross your
Okay.
fingers and toes.
So, funny story I'd like to
Oh.
share with all of you. So I did roll a 6
And a-
and a 1.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
here we
Classic.
go.
Okay.
So this is what happens.
Dad.
You reach out into his mind and you see him, your dad. And then all of a sudden, you are filled with darkness as all of a sudden you see Sienna's head get thrown back, her pupils disappear. She starts hovering into the air as you start radiating with like energy deep into the darkness, and take 3 bleed as
I'm
all of this energy
I'm out.
slams into you.
I am out.
I will.
can
I would like to use. I would like to spend 1 nerve drive using my ability behind me
Mhm.
to
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
intervene.
All right, that's 1 point, and then also popcorn over to our Aadi Kalki.
It was going so
Uh,
well.
It's fine.
It was. Kalki was right behind Sienna at this point. Like, she would
Yeah.
have been
Agatha
accompanying.
was also in the room with Sienna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the two the elder ladies are standing behind the young one, and I have my hand on her back actually. And as I see this coming, can I actually pull out my bleed containment vial, which is essentially a dream catcher with different elements that kind of spin and its own little webs inside.
Yeah,
And
like its
I-
own
can
kind of
I-
hand woven, like
Yeah. Can I pull that out of my coat and then hold it and attempt to contain one of that bleed?
yes, absolutely. The two of you kind of go in. I will say in the narrative, the way it manifests, Agatha, is that you literally grab Sienna and pull her back further away from her father, and you can see the bleed kind of pull and go back into him as you pull her back, and then as she's starting to
I was
fly
gonna
into the
actually-
air. Oh, what was you saying, Denver?
I was actually going to say Agatha lifts her eye patch slightly to try and.
Ah!
Ah!
Okay.
Except I don't have the thing yet because I forgot to make it just this week because I've kind of
Yeah.
had a week. But
So Agatha lifts up the eye patch, and then you see this, like, what does it look like, Agatha?
at first, there's just this black shifting mass behind the eye patch. And then it seems to perk up and it's small right now, but a toothy maw
Ah!
opens.
And then,
Imagine like venom. Imagine like venom.
And then the
On
maw
the eye.
opens, and then like you could see some of the bleed as the black smoke gets absorbed into Agatha's eye, and like you're just sort of shaking Agatha as like you're just like no! Taking it in at the same time, like Kalki, you reach forward with it and you pull some of the bleed into the containment vial, and you only take one bleed.
So is Sienna not incapacitated now?
I'm
No.
incapacitated.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You're
I
still
took a scar. I'm out.
Can I because I was in the room when I was giving him the flask and stuff. Can I try a nobody left behind?
What?
Which
I'm
is,
trying to remember what that does.
When a member of your circle drops incapacitated from taking too many marks, any roll a player makes in the scene to protect them or get them out of danger is +1 die. I wanted to yell at George. George, it's your daughter. Stand down.
Adrian.
Adrian.
Adrian, and make a sway.
Adrian. And make a sway.
Adrian, this is your commander. Stand down.
Absolutely.
Would I have taken a bleed from that?
Would you have taken a bleed? No. The creature absorbs it and then dissipates it. I don't want to undermine your move. The flavor is great.
To Harry's role, can I spend an intuition?
Oh, hold on. We're all getting wild. Do you want to add a roll to Harry's sway?
To Harry's sway, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
The way I'm doing this is I am sort of like, you see him clasping the necklace that Sienna has given him, and sort of like moving and almost like trying to tackle the Adrian, trying to tackle Adrian.
Okay. So.
Oh no!
Go ahead and make your roll. Add the drive.
I have so bad.
I have 2 pips and sway, and I'm getting drive from 2 people or 1 person.
I'm going to give you drive as well, as I am reading an incantation to try to stop this whole situation from happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 4 dice.
Yes.
Okay. Bro. Come on, Harry.
Let's go.
We got a 6.
Woo!
2 5s and a 1. So we'll take that 6.
It's that point. You say that, and then Harry, you hear him, you hear Adrian get up from the bed and fall on his knees, and you see all of these black tears coming out of his eyes, and he's like, I did so hurt her. It answered.
Get her out of here.
Answered.
Get her out of here.
I will please deal with this gentleman quietly, and I will collect Sienna. Come, girl. We would require some moment.
Pause.
Adrian.
What does Agatha say to Adrian in this moment?
It's okay. It's not your fault.
And as you say that, that is the last thing, Sienna, that you hear as you fall into the void, deep, deep, deep into the darkness of your father's memory. And this is what you see. Just for a few moments, if I would have the rest of the table mute your mics.
Wait, are we deafened or are we muted?
No. Mute.
Okay.
As we reveal what Sienna sees as she is passed out from her scar. Adrian Ballard, his wife,
Veronica,
a young member of Candela Obscura by the name of Lourdes, a young woman from Borinque. Lourdes, Doris, and Agosto. We are taken back to our opening scene, the moment where it ended. The vision comes back up, and you see it. The ritual. The members of the Obsidian Plutarchs performing this blasphemous incantation. There, you hear your father's voice, your mother's voice, the voice of everyone in the room. You're frozen. You can't move. You can't interact. It's like you're trapped inside of a nightmare. You can't wake up from. Your screams are wordless as you see your father like run in, as you see them get into pitched conflict with these ritualists, with these cultists. You see them using a relic of Borinque to summon a death god. And you see energies of old Fair funneling into the obsidian mask and twisting it and warping it. And you see your father in a moment of foolish bravery running into the center of the summoning circle, going to the head of Obsidian Plutarchs and takes his hand and puts it on the mask and attempts to rip it off. You feel a backlash, an explosion of bleed that sends Veronica and Lourdes slamming into the walls, and they can't focus, they can't see, but your father's eyes, his vision is clear. There is a moment that Don Castillo, that your mother, that Lourdes did not see. The leader's body at the feet of your father, dead, fried, permeated from its own bleed. Him holding the obsidian mask in his hand, and then being accosted, and he hits into the ground, and you see all of these hallucinations through your father as his mind goes from full of purpose to being broken and shattered into 1,000 pieces, memories slipping through his hands. He's not able to hold on to this memory for much longer. And then you see it, the smug, assured face of Mr. Winston, grabbing the mask, snatching it, putting it into his robes, smirking down at your father, and then vanishing in dark smoke. Your father's eyes go vacant, and he falls covered in a cold sweat. And you hear Agosto's name and your mother's name, distant. Adrian, Adrian, what? And they're getting further and further away as the darkness completely envelops your father, and he is lost in a labyrinth of his own design. We return to the room. You may all unmute now.
Does he retreat? Does he have anything that he can say anymore, or is he a mess? Is he non-communicative?
He looks up at Agatha and Harry, tears streaming down his face as Sienna has been taken away to safety.
Quick, man, while we've got you here, tell us what you can.
The Obsidian Plutarchs. They have the ivory mask. They've had the ivory mask for years. Don Castillo doesn't remember. Lourdes doesn't remember. I don't think anyone. The bleed was too strong. Winston, all from Winston, Oliver Winston.
Yes.
He has it.
George.
He has.
Wait,
It's
George,
George.
Captain George.
He says Captain George. Captain George Oliver is his son, right? The young one.
Yes, we know.
Yes, we know.
You have to
He's-
stop him.
Yes,
You
we're
have to stop him.
working on that right now.
It's
Don't
not
worry.
it's not the first relic. The Lord has believed that. Where's
He
Where's
tells
Lord?
us.
Where's Lourdes? And he looks over to Enrique. Professor, where's your wife?
Oh,
Dun dun dun.
The moment he says that, he goes against the wall, put his hand on the middle of his chest,
Full vapors, just like
just opens his eye as sweat starts pouring from his forehead. Why are you saying her name?
She was with us. She believed that the ivory mask could be the first step. She believed that whatever the Obsidian Plutarchs were doing could save ones that were lost. We all lost in the war.
Enrique will look at Don Augusto and just shout, "When was this?"
You know that Lourdes was working with us. You knew the whole time.
Smacks the wall. When did this happen? How long ago are we talking about?
Within the last 3 years. The war hasn't been over for that long.
Puts his whole back against the wall, and his legs start trembling as he puts his whole body against it. He
steady,
closes
man.
his
Let's
eye.
get you out. Let's get you out of here.
Yes, I can't.
All right.
I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I don't think you were right, Agatha.
Mr. Patel, take him outside.
I got him.
I
And
know
you
it
see,
wasn't.
Arav puts a hand around Enrique's shoulder and says, "Abuelo, let's go out." As in, like, and he knows it prefer to you, but he's saying, "Abuelo, try to ground you in the moment." The
If
same
Lourdes,
reply.
I know I wasn't right. It cost me Cerise.
You
Cerise,
nod and walk away
I,
with Patel.
I'll come back in this moment. I'll step up
the
and
mask.
have an arm around Agatha's waist.
The mask. I shouldn't have taken it, but it was.
You did as you were trained. You did what you needed to.
If you hadn't, who knows how many more would have paid the price.
This is the nature of such relics, that they call on us to not think and simply act.
I don't know.
It is
I don't know how much longer I have, but I will leave you all with. If you can tell my daughter, I'm sorry.
Of course, of course.
And and tell her and he says in La Lengua, the native language of Borinque, return to where it began, the shining jewel of the Southern Sea. And then it's at that point his eyes shift.
All right, it's coming back. Let's all back out. He's falling back into the shell shock. You don't know what someone in that state will do.
Your eye is speaking to me.
Retreat. Retreat. Back out.
What secrets does it have? As he reaches out with almost a supernatural speed at Agatha's eye patch.
Oh,
What do you
jeez.
do?
I'm going to contribute to helping protect her.
Yeah, I'll just whip out my ritual blade and interpose between.
And Agatha also has. There's a quick flick of her wrist, and a hidden hand blade, like throwing knife, comes out.
You all prepare yourselves, and almost in response to all of you getting defensive, the chains and restraints almost react to all of your defensive maneuvers and reach out and whip out, and the restraints wrap around his wrist and hold him there.
Price is too high.
I'm going to fully push, make sure everyone here is outside of the room after she says that. I'm going to slam this door.
You're all out. Don Augusto is sweating.
I've never seen a man go so wild.
Let's leave this place.
By the Father, what strength he has.
I sort of Arav gets up and sort of starts helping both Sienna. He's half carrying Enrique out while where is Sienna? Who is with Sienna? I think Sienna is also.
I think I got put on a couch.
You're on a fainting. You're on a fainting couch in the office.
Oh, well, that's fun. So I'm still out.
Yeah.
I sort of half carry Enrique and lead the way through the stone corridor. Are there any other doors?
There are lots of other doors, but they are all locked. And Don Augusto essentially holds up the lantern and ushers everyone back through the mirror.
Quite the house of horrors here, Don Augusto.
Where you see Sienna sleeping comfily with a blanket laid over her on a fainting couch in Don Augusto's office.
You guys are noticing, if you look closely, there are delicate black veins and violet shadows around her eyes.
Yeah, does your scar manifest right off the hop?
Well, that's part of it.
Yep.
There's another part of it coming.
What is the other part of the scar as they come upon you and you start to wake up as we are in the next scene?
I groan as though there's a large weight on me, a weight of darkness, and I push it off and blink open my eyes, and those sweet gray eyes are now smoky dark, like black smoke drifting across them with
the
little
whites?
In
the whites or in the colored part?
All over. It's if you remember the alien from X-Files, the tar alien.
Ooh.
And when that alien possessed his victims, they had this black smoke that would manifest over their eyes. And with Sienna, it's like it's swirling more and more, along with these delicate traces of black veins surrounding her eyes and the deep violet shadows. So what I did was, I'm not going to be able to hide this.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do about this.
All good.
So I have moved my point from hide to a point to sense. So I'm maxed out on sense now.
Ooh, you're into the superpower. 3-2.
Yeah, you're like right into the bleed.
I went bleed. Hey, go big or go home.
Yeah.
And
my dear child.
What did you see?
I sort of stopped Don Castillo there and said, let her take a moment to compose herself. This is the first time we've seen RF talking back to Don Castillo. Like, he's never spoken back to anyone, even Kalki or Don Castillo. However, in this moment, he asked Don Castillo to step back and says, Don Castillo, please give her a moment.
Of course. And Don Castillo like steps back and puts his hand on your shoulder, and you see a moment of pride. As he listens.
You'll get an approving nod from Kalki also. It's just a very yeah.
So sorry. I'm so sorry, Sienna.
Is my father okay?
He's not doing well. We lost him into his reveries before we left. But he did tell us what we needed to know, I think.
He told me to.
He had a message for you, though I don't speak the language. I only know bits and pieces. Agatha, you are a little more learned than that, yes?
Yes, and I will relay the message.
Return to where it began, the shining jewel of the southern sea.
Yes. Your father's very sick, my dear.
Yes. But he was brave.
He was.
I saw it all. He ran to stop the ritual that was happening in that tunnel. The same one that we saw just earlier.
Yes, I can imagine he did that too.
He was there with my mom, and with you, Tio Augusto, and with Lourdes Torres. The circle of needle and stitch. My parents' circle. There's always been a ballad in Candela Obscura. Always. Always for hundreds of years. There's always been a ballad in Candela. I didn't want to join. You couldn't pay me enough money to join. I saw what it did to my mother. After what happened to Dad, Mother, she didn't want to be in the field anymore. She wanted to help other people and guide them. So she became a Lightkeeper. But I didn't know Dad was in the 4th Pharos until you told me, Tio. He touched the mask to stop the ritual. And he took it all into himself. And George Winston was there. I'm sorry, Uncle Harry, he was there.
Bloody George, of course he was.
He took the mask. Yes, he was. You guys, Tio Augusto,
why don't I remember?
Because the bleed was too much for all of the rest of you, but my dad took it all in. That's why he could see it.
He was not the only one.
Sita's eye was a fake as well, from what I can understand.
Augusto looks at Enrique and said, it was after this.
Enrique will walk slowly and grab Augusto by the chest and put him against a wall.
Enrique, no! No, we
Why
don't need.
the fuck are we doing this?
Because we're the only ones who can.
We have
I
to
read-
protect our people.
I reach
You
out
know-
and I.
Tell me.
Come on.
It's at this point that like Agosto's knees buckle. I can't.
Oh,
The vial.
do I remember where that vial was?
Yes, you do. You know
I
exactly
run
where it
over
is.
to get it, and I grab it, and I.
I will try and get Enrique to let Don Agosto go.
Yeah, I'll take Enrique apart from him. Give him space, man.
This is not the time.
How many drops do you need?
I just need one. I need one.
Drop it in your mouth.
And it's at this point you look at it.
Not just give him Scarlet.
This is a refined version of Scarlet. It's clear.
Oh, Tio.
Ever since that night, I have been wrecked. And like this is like you've never he's it looks like he's been underwater. Like he is covered in sweat, and there is a type of overwhelming vibration that happens when you are a person that suffers from chronic pain, that you all recognize, perhaps for the first time, in the cold, perfectly manicured exterior of Don Castillo.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, Enrique. I promised her that Candela would do everything to help her. I know it can be hard when you are children raising children, and it can be hard to let go when your children grow up. But I had to help her. The same way I have to help you. And todos los otros, and all of the other people from Borinque that have come here and suffered. And he slowly, as the pain melts away, stands up, smooths out his shirt. So blame me if you must.
I thought of you as a friend.
We are. We were raised together. We are hermanos. But Lourdes was also my sister.
We shall see. He walks out of the room.
I will catch Enrique's shoulder and give him a squeeze as I look him in the eyes and just give him a nod, which is like, code for talk to me when you're up to it.
Will nod and keep going. Open the door calmly. Slowly close the door. Going out.
I didn't know about Lourdes. It was just what I saw from Dad.
I knew something happened, but
George Winston has done more than just try to kill his son. He's done a lot. He has a lot to answer to. Okay. Lightkeeper.
Yes.
What is the Southern Sea?
The Southern Sea is south of the map of the Fairelands. It is our personal piece of the setting. It's warm, it's vast, and sailing on the Southern Sea is how you arrive at the archipelago of islands that Borinque is a part of, and also how one travels to Istanbul.
Dad wanted us to go there.
He said the shining jewel of the Southern Sea.
Yes, return to where it began.
That's Borinque.
That's all well and good, but how do we charter a ship out there? That's quite a journey.
I can take care of that.
I think we can manage
I was
that.
planning an expedition there to originally to go to Istapor to return what I took.
Kalki will put a hand over heart and give you a bow.
I spent years trying to make it right.
My dear Aadi, we should discuss this further later in more private settings, but you have done more than enough to work over the guilt of one action with your symphony of actions that have benefited the populace and the people that are best in their lives when they know that Candela Obscura is not there to protect them, as you have. This is not something that you have to work towards. It is only something that you continue in your endeavors to just be the more perfect version of yourself. And that is my act. She would kind of just like gently take Agatha into a hug.
I'm so sorry, Kalki.
My dear, you are a rare gem, for you saw your course and the darkness that it would lead to, and then you have done 1,000-fold after that to ensure that nothing of the sort would happen to anybody else. And like now she pulled back.
Things right. I just wanted to do what was right and return it to people it belongs to.
She would just like look at you like very fondly, pat your cheeks and rest your foreheads together. I know, my dear, and will do this. These people do not know the lure of wrath that will fall upon them, for they have not just poked members of Candela Obscura, they have poked us. And there are wordings about waking up sleeping dragons. They have warnings of their own. Let us prove those warnings correct.
We're going to jump to the professor. I'm going to leave this room as everyone is kind of coming together.
Before we leave,
Yes.
I'm going to stick back a little and say with Don Castillo once everyone has left.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Don Castillo and Patel after we go to the professor. How about that?
Perfect. Yes.
Professor, where do you go? You are in the ivory mask. You are furious that Don Agosto was not transparent with you about your wife's Candela membership.
Yeah. Don Enrique is at one of the tables in there. He grabbed a drink. He is calmly drinking at this moment, going over his book at hand and putting his head over his hand, just looking at the pages as he passes by, tears upon his face going down.
Give me a... Let's look here. What kind of roll as you're flipping through? I would like, if you'd be interested, Could you give me a focus roll? High stakes. And the reason why it's high stakes is
Okay.
because you have access to all of the information that you stole from the Winston estate, all of the libraries in Candela Obscura, and your own personal revelations. So you're dealing with a lot of things that are radiating bleed, that are radiating shocking revelations. So go ahead and roll.
Okay, I'll go ahead and let's see if I have anything else here that I can use. Nope. So I'm going all in with my focus.
Okay.
And that's Guiled is 5 and a 5.
Okay. You're going through, and what you feel is all of this is leading back to Borinque. The portals, the gates, the relics, all of some of the shipping manifests, some of the different things that you've all gathered. You have to go back. And the stress of all of this, of all that has come, take a brain.
Fair.
As just having to go home, having to go back to the beginning, that George Winston has essentially forced your hand. And that is what you discover as you are on your own, drinking, looking over these books. As everyone leaves the room after they have processed, Don Augusto and Mr. Patel are alone in the office, with Don Augusto leaning on and sitting on the fainting couch, still harried. The echoes of the racking pain that fills his body with every day still buzzing, and you can see it on his face. Mr. Patel, what do you say in this moment alone with your Lightkeeper?
So, before anything, he will take out a deck of playing cards from his pocket. And I'm going to do something I did last session. I'm going to attempt to distract him from the pain, distract him from the worries, distract him from everything that he's feeling right now, with providing him some sort of like a glimpse of childlike wonder. With passing magician, ask him to draw a card, any card. A simple
Reaches
trick,
out.
one of the oldest tricks.
Draws a card.
And it goes through like the same motions, and this is exactly what Don Castillo remembers when first meeting Arav. This is exactly the same as the first meeting with Arav. He had been asked to draw a card for a petty card trick, a small card trick, and that even Arav knew was not gonna fool anyone. However, it was just at that time perhaps Don Castillo was also perhaps in a bit of a strange state of mind. So this is just equivalent to a sway roll, not even a high roll.
Yeah.
This is a sway roll trying to
Sway,
get into
medium stakes.
I will spend a drive
Mm-hmm.
to roll 3, and this is gilded. So yeah, let me roll, and let me see if I can. Okay, that is a 5, not on the gilded. I'll take that. Fine.
He does that. You do the trick. He looks at you, reaches out his hand, and touches the side of your face. You're so kind. You know, everything I do, this persona, it's all I can do to be normal.
And I don't know the weight we carry. I don't think any of us do, trying to hold together a family. But just know that You have saved me, and I will always be there for you. And you see that somehow the card that you had drawn this time has changed. That the card that you've done after the card trick, there's a card in your hand, and it is the card of the ace. It's an ace card. Essentially, it symbolizes in my own head the head of the family. This is the highest power, and it is the one that holds the entire deck of playing cards together, at least an entire suit together.
He nods, and you make your way out of the room. The final shot of this story is actually going to be Don Augusto, sitting alone in the office, staring at this ace card. He sets it down and hangs his head. The scene goes black. And the next time that we gather, we shall be on a ship, bound for the shining jewel of the Southern Sea, Borinque, the city of Santa Maria. And with that, we conclude this assignment of the Circle of Hither and Yon. Thank you all so much.
Everybody
for-
okay?
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Thank you all. My name is Okami. I have been your Lightkeeper. Pronouns he, they. I'm all over the internet. I will on Saturdays over at Misadventurers League in the mornings. I'm running the North Star, a powered by Wanderhome folklore punk adventure with lots of magic and feelings. For the next 2 Sundays, I will be here terrorizing you all here on Pantsless Tables with Candela Obscura, Circle of Hither and Yon. And every Friday on Chaos Fridays, also here on Pantsless Tables, every other Friday, I will be with Dark Waters, which we will be coming up this upcoming Friday, where I play Yabisi. Yes, I do play D&D, where I will be playing Yabisi, a Wood Elf Paladin. And that is where you can find me. For now, I'm going to hand this I'm just going to kind of point people out so they don't have to worry about when they go next. We'll start with Grayson. Let's give us a little outro.
Well, I don't tend to do any streaming. I don't tend to be on social media, but you'll find me here on Sundays doing this particular game, and I'm glad to be here. I was your Lieutenant Harry Griffith, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.
All right. Agatha?
Hey y'all, I'm Denver. I play Agatha Payne, the Explorer. And you can find me here on Pantsless Tables with Apocalypse Keys and El Sabor del Amor. And find me on Twitch as DJD20.
We're gonna pop over to Tomas, who's playing our professor.
Our spicy professor.
Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Tomas Jimenez Rioja. I played the heavily traumatized professor in these episodes from beginning to end, even though there are some details that you don't know yet. But as of now, yeah, you can find me around the internet. I'm on most social medias at TGIMENEZRGM. I design games. I create lots of fantastic stories all over the place. So go follow me if you are looking for more content to come.
All right. We are going to pass it down to Mr. Patel, our magician. Spear, introduce yourself.
Hello,
Fast
I'm
hands, fast
Spear. I'm Spear of Heaven. I am perhaps I am the youngest table and the youngest character on this in this campaign. I am not on socials. I don't really like advertising myself, but I am recently starting a few new campaigns. But unfortunately, this might be the last time I am on this campaign as I have IRL exams coming. However,
Yeah.
it has
Dang.
been an absolute blast, and RF Patel will be perhaps the only one with a happy ending among my characters, as far as I can tell from now on.
I love you, Araf.
We love
We'll
you.
miss you.
It's
You.
all
Yeah.
good.
Good luck
good
with your
luck.
exams.
Good
Yeah.
luck
I'm
on
the
your
last
Good
exam.
luck with it. Good luck with exams. And then if Steve lets us ever do a sequel series, well, I guess you're just gonna be in it.
Yes, I also last. I'm so happy to end this character on a happy note because my last character, unfortunately, was in the world of Exandria and became a terror that terrorized half of Wildemount after falling to the devils, which
Oh,
I think
no.
Aadi would remember. Aadi would
Ah!
remember.
Yep.
Everybody's shaking their head.
Speaking of Aadi, let's pass it over to Aadi.
So you're muted.
Oh, you're muted, my darling.
Yeah.
I all of the sass into that. Oh, I thought I forgot I was even here. I was completely missed out.
No.
It's very sad. But yes, hello, people of the internet. I am Aadi MK. You can find me on Moonlight Creations on Instagram. And I will also be at Moonlight Creations on Twitch, where I will be, hopefully from next week, starting a actual play live stream of a homebrew D&D thing that I've written, which is going to be called The Tides of Atlantis. And it's going to be a bunch of DMs playing with each other, which is always nice.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Jealous. Sounds good.
And all of my players have done the wonderful bits of like, I asked them, give me ways to hurt you. And they all complied. And they have
Those
done
are the best
a wonderful
tables.
job. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's fantastic. It's
I
fantastic.
see all your strengths. Now tell me your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's highlight them.
But yeah.
And in terms
I'm-
of, oh, go ahead, Aadi, continue.
And sorry, I play Kalki Iyengar, a weird occultist who is a mantrik from Uzbekpur and has increasing reasons to feel judgmental about the new world and its usage of the Maya. And
Oh,
she's about done with it. She's about
Yeah.
done.
On behalf of the New
I
World,
don't
I'm
blame her.
sorry.
yeah. On behalf of the New World, on behalf of New Fair, I apologize. Last but definitely not least, and don't forget what we talked about, Whitney.
Hi, I'm Whitney. She, her. Whitney's. You can. I'm actually going to drop my last name this time, so people can find me on social media. I'm Whitney Zahar. She, her, and I am on Facebook and Instagram. You can catch me here for the next couple Sundays playing Sienna Ballad, who is now getting a little bit more monstrous, shall we say? I can't wait for that.
Dear girl.
I'll be a good monster, though. I'll be a good.
Yeah, that's what you
Um,
say.
Yes,
You
but
have always been a good girl.
thank you. Now I'll be an even better monster. You can also, I also do a podcast. You can find me and my co-host on the Para Unity podcast on all of your major podcast outlets, including Alexa. You can say, Alexa, play Para Unity podcast. If you're into the paranormal, we interview paranormal groups. We interview writers, podcasters, researchers, scientists, everywhere from all over the United States and even other countries of the world. And we're always looking for more. So hit us up. We've got a Facebook, a YouTube, and an Instagram channel. And I also write books. You can find my books on Amazon, Kobo, Smashwords, all that stuff. 2 full-length novellas and some short stories. Yeah, I'm busy. I need a break.
Very busy.
Same.
All right. And I want to give a shout out to Steve. Thank you so much, Steve, from Pantsless Tables,
Thanks,
for
Steve.
hosting
We love you,
us
Steve.
and being an amazing producer. Is there any announcements you need to make, Steve, or are we ready to head out?
Of course, yeah. Nobody could hear me again. Hi, hello. Very exciting news. Tomorrow or the day after, most likely, we are going to officially open up casting calls for players for our big charity event happening 27th September. It's going to be a 52-hour charity stream event, special thing with a lot of chaos vibes and more
Make sure
chaos.
you sleep this time, Steve.
Make sure you sleep.
Yeah, I have 2 producers who agreed to. Actually, I have like 7 producers who agreed to help out during the 6-8 hours that I will need sleep. So most likely 2 games will be run by someone else during the event. So I get my good 8 hours in. Anyway, there is a lot of really cool stuff happening.
Can I reveal that I'm going to be one of the DMs in this?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
A
Aadi.
guest company.
Go.
Let's go.
Yeah, by the time this episode goes out on YouTube, we'll most likely have our players selected. So if you're waiting for that there, unfortunately for you, there's no more casting call open. But that's fine. We will be doing these events every few months. But yeah, so this one is going to be for Starlight Children's Foundation because we had mix up with the Indian charity who wanted to support. That was very unfortunate. But anyway, that's basically all of it from me. Thank you for vibing. Thank you for this game. I had so much fun just watching. And I will see you all next week for episode 3.
Yes, next week.
Thank
Farewell.
you.
Yes,
Bye.
yes.